How many secret hacks to learn a language have you come across? How many unique methods and special trick and the one thing that you need to learn a language successfully? How many of those have you come across? There's a million of them, right? Now, when you come across those, you probably have one of two reactions. The first reaction is, oh my God, I have to try out this secret hack and this will finally get me what I need to learn a language because I'm struggling so hard and I just want to know the answer. Or you're like how I used to be, where I was like, I know that it's BS. I know that it's like probably not true, but I don't know what else to do. I'm like stuck in my language learning and I would really love to just learn languages, but I'm stuck. I am here to tell you that those are all wrong. Let's talk about what's going on with all these different phrases. Let's deconstruct them and make sense of them so you can understand what exactly is happening. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video about realistic, straightforward, no BS language learning. This is your first time on my channel. Hi, my name is Jamie. I am a language coach and I specialize in helping independent language learners get past their language learning obstacles and feel confident and feel great in their language learning. Let's start with my favorite. My favorite one of these is this is the best app to learn a language, right? You've seen that for pretty much every app out there, honestly. And the truth is that there is no best app. There is none. I have tried more language learning apps, resources than most people, and I can tell you with absolute 100% confidence that there is no best one. In reality, it's just, some apps work better for some people. It's really just a matter of what you want to learn, how you like to learn it, what your goals are, all sorts of things like that. There is no best language app, but unfortunately the problem is that most people don't know how to describe what it is that they want to learn. Most people don't know. That takes a little bit of introspection and understanding, and that's why I teach my clients a lot of that. It's really about understanding what exactly you want out of language and how you want to learn it. But because most language learners don't understand that, and language apps, the people who make and sell language apps, they also understand that's not really an effective way to sell their language app, so they just say the best way, and they leave it up to us to understand what it is that we're looking for. But if you don't know what it is that you're looking for, you just end up going round and round and round, using different apps, trying different things, getting really frustrated, thinking it's your fault. It's a mess, right? Fact of the matter is there is no best app, it's just marketing speak. Similarly, another one that is really common is just do this, just speak, just immerse yourself, just get input, listening to music or reading books or something like that. Just do that and this will work for you. While that is very simple and, works for some people, again, it's not gonna work for everybody. People who say, oh, you really just need to immerse. You need to go abroad to a different country and immerse yourself in the language. Well, first of all, immersion is not great for beginners. If you don't have any experience in language whatsoever, then it's a bad idea. I have a whole video on how to know if you should be immersing, where I go really deep into that, but basically, if you don't have experience, you shouldn't immerse. Also, a lot of people can't immerse. A lot of people don't have the privilege of being able to hop across the world in another country. A lot of people have jobs, they have homes, they have families, and saying that you need to immerse is really just really harsh. It makes people not want to try. Or, if you say, oh, just talk, just speak the language. That ignores a lot of obstacles that people face, that ignores a lot of, different goals that people have. A lot of people don't want to speak the language, and that's fine, that's valid. At the end of the day, if somebody is telling you to just do this to complete strangers, that's not the secret hack. That's not the best way. That's not the secret magical wand of, fluency. It's helpful for some people, not helpful for others. Next one is when you see advertisements that says loved by hundreds of thousands of language learners and 3,000 downloads for a certain app, or 500 5-star reviews or whatever. Just because 100,000 people have downloaded an app doesn't mean that they've used it, doesn't mean that they've enjoyed it, doesn't mean that it has actually helped them accomplish their goals. Even if it says, 500,000 5-star reviews, that doesn't mean people want the same things out of a language that you want. You always have to bear in mind that people want different things out of their foreign language learning, and that's fine. People don't know how to communicate it, or they just don't need to communicate what it is besides learn a language, fluency, all that stuff. Just because a bunch of people have downloaded an app and left 5 stars does not mean that that is necessarily an amazing app. Honestly, 5-star ratings in the App Store is really easy to BS. It's really easy to get. Just, hey, give us a 5-star rating and we'll give you a month free kind of thing, It's not like an ironclad review. Next one. I learned 23 languages, so buy my course because I will teach you how I learned 23 languages. This isn't meant to criticize, disrespect anybody. I have definitely come across people who get really excited about the method that they've discovered. People who have been struggling to learn a language and have gotten scammed, or they feel like they've been scammed by people on the internet selling courses, and then they discover another strategy and that strategy worked for them, and they say, oh, I need to tell everybody about this strategy because this is the one that works. People get really confident that they found the solution to the problem. The thing is that people don't realize that everybody learns languages differently. Everybody wants different things. I found an approach to language learning that I enjoy. And I can basically reproduce it to most any language just because I found an approach that I like. I'm never going to try and convince anybody to learn languages the way that I do because I know that I struggled with language learning for so long because of people doing that to me. People selling courses and people, giving me free trainings of how they learn languages, and they go on for half an hour about how they learn different languages, and this is proof that this works, so it'll work for you, so buy this. Everybody takes a different approach. I know I keep saying it, but it's really, really important with this particular topic. Like I said, I could learn 50 different languages with my personal language approach and love it, and it'd be really effective and have it be amazing. And then I could sell it to somebody and it won't work for them, and they'll still be in the same position because it's not that my approach was wrong, but they don't know how to approach language learning for themselves. So me giving them my strategy is not going to help. I'm getting a little frustrated. I'm sorry. It's just one of my big pet peeves. When I see things like this, when I see magic hacks like this and people trying to sell their method as the best method, I'm assuming that they honestly believe that they found the greatest strategy and an awesome method that must work for everybody. And if it helps people, that is great. But there are many, many people it does not help. If you know that feeling, if you are also frustrated by this phenomenon, leave me a comment below and share with me what your experience is, because I know for a fact that I'm not alone. Okay, next one. This one, more people are talking about this one, so this is good. So the whole fluency in 24 hours, fluency in a week, fluency in 30 days, fluency in 6 months. All those kinds of things that sound really exciting and really motivating, and then they leave you disappointed. Why is that? That is because the very reason that I try so hard not to use the word fluent. Fluent, or fluency, does not have a concrete, tangible definition. It is a vague term that can mean almost anything. If you can say 3 phrases in a foreign language, somebody can say, I'm fluent. It's more like a feeling, honestly. I feel like it's more of a feeling of confidence. Like I was saying in my video where I spoke only in Spanish for the whole time, I said, hey, I've been speaking Spanish for a long time and I still don't feel like I'm fluent. I feel like fluency is more of a feeling. It's more of a confidence type thing. That's just my personal opinion. Everybody has different opinions about what fluency actually means. And that's the thing about fluency in whatever amount of time. It's not like you study every day for 3 months, then all of a sudden, okay, check mark, I'm fluent, next up. It's there's no tangible definition of how long can I have a conversation, how many words you know, how many grammatical structures can you use, what kind of conversations you can have. There's no rule book for fluency. And so when people say that using this program you can get fluent in 30 days, they can say that because it doesn't actually mean anything. It's not that they're lying per se, it's just that they're using a vague term that they can use because it sounds good and it sounds inspiring, and you can't necessarily prove them wrong. You can't necessarily complain because, okay, so your definition of fluency is not their definition of fluency. That's it, you can't complain. You just kind of get stuck. Next up, we have learn languages like children. This one's problematic. The concepts being that we all learned our native language as a child. And so theoretically, if a program can advertise that they will teach you a language like you learned as a child, then it'll be, more effective than any other resource, right? There's two major issues with this statement, to learn a language like a child. The first one being children take many years to learn languages. A 2-year-old, depending on the 2-year-old, probably can't communicate clearly. They can't communicate with proper grammar because we're taught grammar in elementary school. They don't know a lot of vocabulary. They still have words to learn. They can't communicate like their feelings. They can't communicate, like all they can communicate is I want, or like truck, or things like that. Meanwhile, somebody who has been learning a language for 2 years, depending on their approach, might be able to say whatever comes to mind. It really just depends. Even 5-year-olds don't know words. They don't know grammatical structures. They can't talk about organic chemistry. Technically, you could learn the jargon for organic chemistry in a month, but a 5-year-old is not going to know how to talk to you about organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is an important thing for you to be able to communicate about, then you're going to learn it. 5-year-old doesn't know how to talk about organic chemistry. They just don't. Second of all, when we are children, not only are we very, very highly motivated to learn our native language just because we have a need to communicate as human beings, but we're also completely surrounded by it. Nobody is speaking to us in a language that we already know. Everybody's speaking to us in a language that we still need to learn. I've had a couple of clients who did not speak English natively, but we worked together in English, and they've been so frustrated that they could learn English so easily, but they can't learn their next language. There's a reason for that. Our current world, English is the language that everybody learns. It is easy to learn just because all of our music and media, movies, they're all in English. It's also the language of business, so English is so much more accessible to us, to everybody around the world, than a lot of different languages. So as a non-native English-speaking child, depending on where you are in the world, it's pretty easy to learn English because you're surrounded by it. If I wanted to learn, Hindi, it would be much more difficult for me because I am not surrounded by Hindi. Even if I were to immerse myself in Hindi music and, Bollywood stuff, my family still speaks to me in Hindi. Every conversation that I have, every email that I send, every post on Facebook, none of it's in Hindi. I can force myself into Hindi a little bit, but it's just, I'm not going to be nearly as surrounded with it as I was as an infant being surrounded by English, my entire family speaking English to me. It's not an accurate statement for any resource because no one resource can just magically turn your entire life into another language that you have to figure out in order to survive. And finally, last but not least, the most modern way to learn a language based on the latest science, neuroscience, the latest studies, whatever it is. No, I'm not a scientist. I believe in science. I am not a scientist. So I can't speak to whatever studies they say they're basing this off of or anything like that. But what I do know is that we are human beings. We are not robots that you can put in the right kind of coin and a language comes out. Just because technically we learn how to, work our brains better or whatever it is, doesn't mean that it'll get rid of your fear of speaking, or it'll get rid of how difficult a new script is to learn, or that new vocabulary that's just not sticking in your brain. It's not going to magically work. There are more efficient and less efficient ways to learn languages. It's more about being intentional about what you're doing, which is, what I teach my clients, how to understand which methods work more efficiently for which skills and stuff like that. But I will never recommend something based specifically and only on neuroscience or scientific studies or whatever, just because we are human, and it's really about making language meaningful and making it enjoyable, and specifically practicing certain parts of a language and how to use a language a certain way. I'm getting real excited. So if these clickbaity phrases and magical statements don't work, where do you look? How do you know where to start? How do you know how to shift your approach, what to do? Click the link in the description of this video for my free training where I teach how to approach different strategies. So if you want to learn more about that, a realistic approach to language learning, click that link. This topic is very personal to me, so my brain is a little woo. If you want a preview of the training that's linked below in my description, watch this video where I talk about what exactly I teach my clients. It really gives you an overhead look of everything that you will learn if you go to that training. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.